this is Sarah, the Stitchin' Mommy, and it's Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. I think I got that right. Here for my weekly cross-stitching update. And I was not able to come film yesterday on my normal day because we ended up repiping our entire house. We didn't personally. We had it repiped. So it was under construction yesterday. There's even a hole right here, right there for something they needed to do in the kitchen down below us. But so everything was under chaos. We were hanging out in my in-laws, took Smokey with us, but all the piping is done now. So hopefully in the next couple days, they'll get everything patched up again and we'll be good to go. So here we are. I did stitch yesterday a little bit more than usual on some of my miscellaneous projects because I wasn't home. I did have a little bit in the evening, but it was not a lot. So I ended up kind of rearranging things. So I'll explain that when we get there. But I guess we can jump right in with travel stitching. I guess I usually start with my temperature piece, which I'm not doing a temperature design this year because I already stitched it ahead of time. But this is my Sunday stitch, which is the one I always did my temperature stitching on Sunday. So this is Books of the Bible by My Big Toe. So maybe I'll start with this one this time. I also was sick this past week. So Tuesday I had a fever, slept the entire day. I did stitch in the evening. I was finally feeling up to stitching later, but the whole morning. So I wasn't able to talk with my sister or my mom the next day. So this didn't get work when I would normally talk to my mom. And I couldn't work on it because of the fire at our church. There's so many things. We're still meeting in a different church's space right now, so which is closer. So I was like, well, what did I work on? I worked on this. I still worked on it in the car a little bit, but it's a lot shorter amount of time. And then, we had like just a devotional time amongst ourselves instead of Sunday school, which we would normally have at church. So I did a little bit then too. So I did get some done on this. This is 25 count Through the Stones by Be Stitch Me, and it's 1/1 full cross with the called for silks. So I think I'd already done the reds last time, so I did the green. It was one long length of green, did the whole thing there. So that was during our kind of devotional time and to and from church. I got that little green thing done. So that's fun. I think that's all I worked on since I saw you last. So next time I'll probably, I don't know. I'll probably keep moving along, working on like the end of this and the more green, more red before I come down and do the bottom like brown bits. Even though technically that should maybe be done if I did an official like typewriter method on this. Yeah, technically there's one row of stitches. I can't show you the pattern, but in the border right there that should be done before I move on to the right. But I'm going to keep doing other stuff before I pull this border across, because then I'll be able to count nicer when I do that part of the border if all this other stuff is done already. So I'll keep working throughout the border, and it won't get as much attention while we're at our alternate space, but we should be back in our church building again in 2 weeks, I think, which is good. There's water and power has been restored now, and they had a big cleaning day last weekend, and they're gonna have another one this weekend, so that should get it all the residues and stuff should be gone after that, so that'll be good. My regular travel piece is still Cats and Hearts, December. So this one is coming along slowly but surely. So this is by Kitty and Me Designs. Oh my goodness. So here is where I'm at on this one. This is 25 count white even weave, 1/1 full cross. Got all the mauves done, and I'm halfway through the greens. I'm working on the third green. I think up here it's in, so I still need to do the third green down here. And then there's a fourth and a fifth green, and then there's a little bit of backstitching. Not very much backstitching in this one. There's a couple little curly cues and a couple of these bands that are green, and then the dark gold border around the heart, and that's it. So that's that one. Hopefully soon I can get that one done. Oh, I was like trying to think if there's something else I should show. I did get a box at Fat Quarter Shop Goodies, but it's kind of underneath a pile of things that were displaced because of our repiping situation. So that's why I didn't remember to bring it up here. But I did get one of the patterns that was in there was the seed packet club, I think. And I measured out, a fat quarter of the Bee Stitch Me 25 count will work to do those on if I want to do all 12 of them. I think there's going to be 12. So I'm thinking I'll show that next time because it's clearly not accessible right now. But when this December cat is done, I think I'll switch over to that one just for a little palette cleanser before going to May's heart. And I might go back and forth for a little while just to kind of get started on that other project. Those are like lighter on the stitching, so they shouldn't take as long to work on. So we'll see. And I'll show that next time, but I probably won't get to it this coming week because there's enough left on this one. I think that'll take me the whole week to get that done, if not more. So it'll be fine. You'll see that next time. One last miscellaneous piece that I work on, if I can, for one length of thread every day. There was one day that I didn't get to it, but then the next day, yesterday when I was at my in-laws, I had extra time to do whatever I wanted because I wasn't at home. So I did 2 days worth, basically. I did one length of thread plus a couple colors, and I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along. So here's Reindeer Biscornu by Historical Sandbook Company with the called for like slate blue Aida, 16 count Aida, 2/1. And this upside down reindeer is fully completed. And this one is now, the reindeer itself is done. It still needs its pink and its green and the rest of it's white. But then some of these colors, as I was finishing them up, I went ahead and started this right side up reindeer here in this quadrant down here. So I'm getting there. I would like this one done before the end of February to be able to fully finish it as a biscornu at the Pacific Stitching Retreat that I'm going to. So I forgot to show you, this is the cover. And the back has, can't really see it here, but there's some holly leaves and stuff in the corners of the bottom. So there is a little bit of stitching on that to do too. Hopefully it won't take too long. But that's been fun. It's a nice, simple one. It usually goes pretty quickly to get one length of thread done on the 16 count, so it's not too cumbersome. I also have been working pretty consistently on the daily 30 projects that go along with the temperatures. So I like to have, 10 projects that are assigned the digits 0 through 9, and then whatever the temperature was for the day before. The project that matches the second digit of the temperature is the one I work on for 30 minutes that day. And so far it's been really fun. And I have some statistics for you too to round out January. But first I'll show you what I actually worked on, and then I'll talk statistics, which is kind of fun. I worked on Cherry Kitten for the first time. Where is that one? I guess I should show you the cover pages. This one is assigned to the number 8. It was 48 that day as a high, which is pretty cold for here where we are. It gets into the 30s at night, but not usually gets up above 50 most of the time. So this is an artisy pattern. It's charted with no background, and they have a background version that looks like blue puffy clouds, but this one I'm stitching on a Pole Stitches fabric that's kind of splotchy, and I thought it looks kind of like puffy clouds, so I went with this one. So this one I got 105 stitches in the half hour, maybe a touch more to finish a thread. I don't remember at this point. It's now at 11.67%. And yeah, I think I filled in, just a few colors along somewhere in the kitty cat. Hopefully you can see the difference before and after. This is 28 count, 1/1 full cross. Pole stitches, dragon shades. Dragon shades is the type of fabric, I think, which is a specific one. Cosmos. This is Cosmos. Yeah, so that's a fun fabric. It's a Jobelin, I think. It feels like a Jobelin. So that was fun. That's the only time it ever came out in January, but I'm happy it came out once at least. Got 100 stitches, so woohoo! Then Autumn Calico Cat came out twice this week. Both for the number 50, the temperature 56. Here's this one. It's by Vivsters. You can find her on Etsy, and she's got a lot of pretty stuff. So this is that one, and I worked on that 2 times. It's on a nice navy blue 25 count. And this is where I got in with this one. The first day was 101 stitches. The second day was 62 stitches. It is now at 6.98%, so almost to 7%. And I'm picking symbols in the top 10 by 10 row. So like the top of this ear, the top, whatever's in the top row is done. I was picking symbols in this flower and then working them wherever they appeared, either in the cat or down here. I think there's a couple more stitches in this flower, and then there's a stem, and then I can come back here and start working on the symbols that are in that ear. So we'll see how many rotations I need to get through before I can do that, but we'll see. That was fun. And then the next day was Meadow. That came out just once this week. This is by Carolyn Manning. And it is a really pretty flowery one. It is not full coverage. Though there's a lot of clouds today, so it's kind of coming and going. The sunshine is playing hide and seek. So here's this one. It's on a moss green Lugana 25 count, 1/1 full cross. And I got 96 stitches done on this one. I finished this. There was one color in this motif, and then I finished that along here, and then I worked on some border as well. Just a small length of thread for the border. I think I might actually come over here next time this gets pulled to work on this border, so I have more of a frame for all the things that are going to be coming in over here, because this top 10 by 10's row of symbols is now complete in this on this side of the triangle there. So I'm going to start picking symbols over here next time. So I want to kind of have a little more structure. So that's kind of the plan. I'll do that even though it's not officially the next color. I'll do some border, and then I'll resume picking symbols. That's a fun one. That's now at 17.04%, which is great. Then I got to work on Cupcake Dreams, which is always fun. This is the one has the least amount of stitches remaining in Pattern Keeper, of all my Pattern Keeper pieces. At least when I first sorted them at the beginning of the year. So this is by Tilton Crafts, a former freebie. They do have a bigger pattern with lots of cupcakes in it that includes this one, if you really like this one. But it got 59 stitches. This is on a mint green Jubilee 28 count, 1/1 full cross. It is now 82.76%, which includes the white background that I am not stitching. So it was a dark red. I think I finished it in this strawberry. There's a couple little bits in these strawberries, and then I'm starting in on, it'll be all throughout the chocolate frosting. It's really dark red. So I got more of that color left to do. I'm color completing this one as I go. So next time this one comes out, I'll just keep working on that color, fill in more of that frosting. And that's fun. I like that one. That's one I have hopes of finishing this year, if I can keep chipping away at it. The next one was Christmas Visit, which I worked on. This is by Butternut Road. I'm doing a color conversion for mine, which you'll start to see coming in a little bit here. and I worked on it twice. It was Saturday and yesterday. So yesterday, I didn't want to bring this to my mother-in-law's because I didn't know exactly which colors I was going to need, and I couldn't check the previous temperature until that morning, and we had to get out of here really early, get all the kids going, and then they were going to be showing up right away. So I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with pulling threads and stuff. I wanted to have something prepped ahead of time the night before. This is not something I could have prepped the night before. So what I did is I ended up bringing an easier piece for my like main stitching, and I brought that to my mother-in-law's and worked on this for just one length of thread in the evening when I got home. I think it was, I don't know if it was a half hour, I didn't actually time it, but it was one length of thread. It was about the same amount of stitches I would have normally gotten in a half hour. So I'm like, it's good, it's fine. I'll just do that for my half hour. And then if I had a few extra minutes after that length of thread was ended, I went back to the main piece that I had chosen that I worked on earlier in the day and kind of called it good. So my official, like, I was supposed to work on Lollipop today according to my original plans, but that's a 40 count full coverage with, you know, all the colors. So I'm like, I don't want to work on that at my in-laws either. So I just kind of rotated. I adjusted my plans. We were flexible. So Christmas visit did get to 2 days of my temperature stitching. This is the last one that I got to. So here is this one. It's 46 count Vintage Misty Rain by Lakeside Linens, and this is a 1/2 full cross, one strand back stitching. And I'm so happy with what I got done. I did 91 stitches on Saturday, and then 81 yesterday. Was all this blue that's starting to come in here, which is a new color that's not charted. I'm changing it from grays to blues for her dress. That's the main, these door colors are also slightly different than what's called for, just because they matched my fabric better. Yeah, so I'm so excited. I got some greens and reds coming in. Okay, I'm back. I thought I heard my husband calling me, but he was not. I did have, on Sunday, I didn't have time for Cat Bookshelf was the one that was for the Temperature Daily 30. I probably would have had time, but I ended up taking the time instead to finish up the threads that I had hanging on my two of my focus pieces for the week that I'm like, I really just want to finish this section and be done. But on the day I was working on it, I didn't have time. So Sunday I finished both of those, and that took away the extra time that I would have had to do a daily 30 piece. So Cat Bookshelf was supposed to come out on the 2nd, and I didn't work on it, but that's okay. I'm sure it will come out later. So that's all my temperature projects that I worked on and kind of miscellaneous. And so I thought, well, since we're talking temperature, I thought it would be fun to show the like totals for the month. And I don't know, I don't want to do before and afters at this point, but I thought it would be fun to kind of tally up how many times each of these temperature projects got called based on the temperature for the month, and then how many stitches I got on them throughout the month. So I'm pretty happy with that. These are all projects that for the most part, I don't know that I would have spent any time on in January. They're all just kind of, it'd be fun to see progress, but I am not like focusing on them right now. And so this is a significant amount of progress on all of these that I wouldn't have normally had if I wasn't doing this. So I think that's really fun, just for 30 minutes a day. So I'm happy with that. So I think I'll do this every month, just to kind of keep me motivated and see how it's all going. So that's fun. And regular projects then, I worked on Robin Christmas for, this is by the Historical Sampler Company. I worked on this. No, this is my owl. I didn't show. I didn't bring my box. Robin Christmas Patchwork. I didn't bring the cover page, but I brought the project. This one, I needed to do one more day to finish my WIPGO goal. And so I didn't get as much done on it as I would have liked, but I did work on it. This is on the called for 32 count linen that's like a sage green. I still have these pieces in here that are not in the right spot. So those will still need to get frogged, but I didn't want to take the time for that last Monday. It was just too busy. But I did work on one color filling in these stockings. So still the second color still needs to get done in there. But overall, I think it was 92 stitches. Not a great amount, but something. So this will come back out when it gets called on WIPGO again. So it's not one of the ones that was called for February, but it is on my WIPGO board 3 more times. So it will get another 12 days this year. Hopefully they're better days than that one because I need a little bit faster progress if I'm going to get that done this year. Then I worked on Her Journey for 2 days. Oh, this one. I guess I could show this one now. This is still another bonus piece that I worked on when I had a couple chats. This is the Little Owl patchwork sampler that is also a mystery. There's one part left to be revealed. I'm still working on part 1. But I did work on this a couple times. I worked on it today already because I talked to my sister this morning. This is 25 count Frost by Bee Stitch Me, 1/1 full cross. So it's not the Culver fabric, but I am using their threads that are all DMC. Finished the owl and his border is completed now. And then I came up here and I did this border and the stick of the tree. There's another color green in there. So yeah, it's cute. I like how it's looking on this Frost fabric. So I'll keep chipping away at that one. We're not in a hurry. Hopefully before the end of the year, I can get that one done. Yes, so Her Journey is one that I started New Year, New Start, and I didn't get it. I only worked on it for a little tiny bit just because it wasn't my goal that day, but I wanted to, so I'm giving it 2 proper days here at the end of the month. This is by Blushing Pink Stitches, artwork by Megan Walsh. And I ended up starting over here because I decided to roll up my fabric vertically, which is not my normal way. I normally do it horizontally. And then as I was working on it the first day, I realized I don't like it. It's too deep to have a vertical roll. If I do a vertical roll, it needs to be skinnier, like a skinnier strip. So I went ahead and re-rolled it. So now I do have a horizontal roll again. And instead of working down to be working like this, I'm going to go back to working across the top and then working down. Normally I would start over here and work this way. Since I've already got my start, I'm just going to do my typewriter method backwards, only with the top row of symbols, not the 10 by 10 squares, because I want to kind of work over here faster. So I'm just picking symbols in the top row and I'll head right to left instead of left to right. So that's my plan. This is on 40 count. I just had it open and it would have told me. Silver Moon, 40 count Silver Moon linen. And I got total this week, 593 stitches. Total in January, including the little bit that I had done on the first, was 677 stitches total here that you're looking at. This is 1/1 half cross on 40 count Silver Moon. And it's now at 0.39%. And that actually includes one line of black that was all the way across the top that both Ebony and I were not interested in stitching. So we just marked that off. But yeah, so you can kind of see the, it'll be a little stripy here, and the blacks on the back side of the tiger, but I'm going to head across and meet up with where I normally start, and then I'll work down in my normal fashion thereafter. So that was fun to get a better start on that one. Then I did the same thing with Bits and Bobbins. This is one that I started in the middle of January, but again, was not able to give it a full time, a full 2 days. So this is by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Elizabeth Welker. I'm up here in the purples, which is really fun. So I gave this 2 days, and this is one that I needed to, I had a length of thread on my needle that I really wanted to finish, and I just didn't have time the night I was working on this, the second night. So I finished this up on Sunday to make sure it got its proper attention. So this week, was 440 half stitches. So not a ton, but it's great still. Better than I had before. Total in January, including the stuff on, I think the 14th is when I started this with Vonnie, Thread the Needle. It's 567 total stitches you're looking at right here. 0.13%. This is 1/1 half stitch on 40 count raw linen. And yeah, again, it's over 500 stitches, so it's something, and I'm happy with that. So that's good enough for me to get a start on that one. And it'll be fun to pull that out every little bit, make more progress on it. Then I worked on my first full coverage February project, Cat Alphabet. I put a bunch of full coverages in a wheel and spun and picked one for every Friday and Saturday in February, and this is the first one, Cat Alphabet by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm working up here in the title block. I was working on picking symbols in the top of the C, and it ended up being a lot of just onesies and twosies in the C, but then they were down here in various places as well. So we'll see some new areas getting attention as well because of just picking the symbol and then using the thread up. That's how it worked. So this is Cat Alphabet. It got just one day, 175 stitches. This is at 1.53% now, so still a long way to go. But that was fun. It's 28 count, Ivory Lugana, 1/1, full cross. So I finished up this top C, I believe is all done now. So the next symbols I'll choose will be over here in the middle here somewhere. But I got some color in, like, I think there's some like mice. I think that's a mouse. Some of these might be mice. The E in alphabet, it starts here, was done. I think this is part of the T. This is the very bottom of the block. I think there's a letter here, but this is underneath the letter in the background, and that's the bottom of the block. So it is kind of fun to kind of see a little more structure. This big mass in the middle is the cat. So yeah, it got some attention, so that's helpful. Always fun. And then Sunday is seasonal Sunday. And so I pulled out my first rotation on my stitching shelf for the month, for the season, because I haven't worked on this probably over a year, but I thought, you know what, I want to pull this out again. So I'm going to pull it out one month every season and give it 4 Sundays on the shelf for that season. So this will be fun to work on. It was nice to get this out again. It's been a long time. So I have a stitching shelf, Max Colors, but it's the regular size, by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Amy Stewart. I'm working down here in the winter shelf, and I'll keep working in the winter shelf all month. I thought about maybe working in the snowman some more because I have some of the bones of the snowman done, but most of the colors represented were confetti. So if I picked that, I did a little bit in the snowman, and I'd have to go counting to try to find more things or to tie off my thread or something. And it was Sunday, I didn't have a ton of time, so I wanted to pick something that had a lot of stitches to just fill in a little bit more. So I ended up coming over here and working on some of these teals to kind of get this structure started, because actually the dog is the farthest over I have low down here. I have this corner really good, but I wanted to kind of head over to this corner, you know, a little bit. So I'm working in the teals. And I got 239 half stitches. And it's now exactly 4%, which is fun. So here's all of it. I don't know if you can see it all, but then we'll do the before and after of the winter shelf. And I worked over here. So I got all of this done. Counted over from the dog on the autumn shelf and got that started. So the edge is, you know, back over here. Once I get closer to the edge, I can count up and double check that it's lining up. So far, everything has been lining up. So yeah, so I'll probably keep working on this color. There's a lot of it in there next Sunday. And just keep going with that. because that was nice just to kind of chip away, get some more bones done on this piece. This Sunday actually is Super Bowl Sunday, and we are having people over most likely. So this one might still get time in the evening, but I won't be able to work on it during the Super Bowl. It's a little bit too big to work on with company in the room with the TV. So I usually stitch during the Super Bowl, but it's usually on something small. So I'll either work on my travel piece, one of my travel pieces, or a 30-minute stitch if that's an easy one. I'm not sure what's going to be called that day, but anyways, so that one hopefully will still get a little bit of time after the party's over and everybody goes home. So we'll see. And then Monday, since I didn't come to you yesterday like I normally would, I went ahead and pulled out Shine Bright Sampler, which I was going to work on anyways Wednesday, Thursday of this week, because this is one of my WIPCO calls for February. It was a WIPCO call in January, and it's also in February. So I'm excited to get this more progress. This is the Shine Bright colorway that I'm working on. You can find that at the Fat Quarter Shop. So I thought this would be an easy one to take to my mother-in-law's house. So I did most of it there, most of what I worked on there, and then a little bit more at home after I did my length of thread on my daily 30 piece. So here's this one. This is 40 count Morganite linen by Fiber on a Whim, 1/2 full cross. And I was able to get this heart all the way finished, and which finishes the light teal. That color is done now. And then the dark teal, I finished the rainbow stripe and started the dark teal in this motif. There's one of these little things along the bottom in that color too. Then that color will be done. And then there's a red stripe, so I might finish all the red after that. So I'm gonna kind of color complete here at the bottom. So yay! This will come back out again on Thursday, and it'll come back out again for 2 more days next week. We'll see how much I can get done. Maybe a little bit too much for a finish in February, but that would be really nice. So we'll see. We'll see how much time I can give it. So plans for this week. My gift stitch for this week is Lollipop. So I'll go ahead and do that today and tomorrow to give it 2 days, and then go back to Shine Bright on Thursday. So this is Lollipop by Tilton Crafts, artwork by Denise Garbus. And last time I worked on it, I finished all the symbols in the top 10 by 10 row. So I'm down here again, picking in the second row, picking symbols. It'll be fun to see what colors come up this time. So here's this one. This is 40 count, 1/1 half cross, 40 count Verdal, white. So yeah, I'm picking symbols. I don't know if any of these are left. I might just have some of these starting in. I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, that's how that one's looking. And so I'll give that 2 days here. Go back, give Shine Bright Sampler 1 more day. And then on Friday and Saturday, I have 2 more full coverage February projects that I'll give 1 day each. So I spun the wheel 8 times. I got 8 different projects and then kind of filled them in based on how I wanted them to get filled in. I had 3 like older golden kite projects and 5 newer ones. So they were either Heaven or Designs or something else. So each week I gave 1 old, 1 new, 1 old, 1 new. And so Cat Alphabet was first. I just had 1 day that week, 1 weekend day in February, because it's Saturday was the beginning. Friday was still in January. The very last weekend day is Friday, Saturday is the 28th, which is I'll be at the retreat. So I wanted to pick a full coverage of those full coverages that would be really good to do at a retreat. So I picked Princess of the Sea to do in that one. And then all the weeks in between, I picked 1 old golden kite and 1 newer colorful pattern, essentially. So of the ones that I had gotten pulled, I just kind of rearranged them to fit my schedule. So the 2 that I'm working on this week, the older golden kite ones, I'll work on Friday every time. And then the more colorful ones, I'll work on Saturday. So End of the Ball is the one that got called and that I'll work on this week. And this one just came out in was it December? It wasn't that long ago. So this is a golden kite one. A lot of the golden kite ones are based on antiquity patterns, so they're kind of darker and browner, but they are still really pretty. So that's kind of why I wanted to break up the, like these ones will be a little duller colors and the ones on Saturday will be brighter colors. So then it kind of, I won't get bored of the color scheme by having like two darker ones on the same weekend. So that was my thought there. But this is on 24 count Congress cloth in ivory, maybe. And this is my starting point. I have a piece of thread on my needle over here, so I'll work that in, keep picking symbols in the top most likely, and work my way across. I think this is the edge of the curtain, so this is all similar colors, and these colors are new. So that's kind of why it was a kind of a harsh, not harsh, but a pretty firm line here. Here's the, so this is the edge of the, see on this side, the wall. Yeah, so we're gonna have some other stuff here on this side. So we'll see where I get to on one day. It's a half stitch project, so that'll help get some progress, even though it's just one day. We'll see how that goes. And then Saturday, I'll work on Hibiscus Fairy. I thought that'd be, I love this one, so I will enjoy getting this one out again. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Meredith Dillman. And this is pretty large, but it's regular size, regular colors. This is 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, I think, from Charles Craft, like the rolls. And this is my starting point. This is 1/1 full cross, actually. So it might go a little slower because it's a full cross, but there's still a lot of chunks of color where I'm working right now. So I should be able to hopefully still see some good progress on Saturday. So that'll be fun. And then Sunday I'll work some more on my stitching shelf. So that'll be fun. I love that. Good plans, I think. So with that, I think I will be done. Wrap it up, go have some lunch. And yeah, I think that's everything. So I will hopefully see you again next week, probably on Monday. And I hope you have a wonderful beginning of your February and happy stitching. Bye.